Beautiful Mica Miller was said by authorities to have unalived herself on April 27, 2024 at around 2:54 p.m. after she dialed 911 in Lumber River State Park in North Carolina. But people are casting doubt on the official narrative that she wasn't followed or even if she did it to herself. So, new footage as well as different accounts of what happened have emerged in recent days that paint an entirely different picture than what the cops are telling us. So, I'm Joseph Morris. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell. New footage from Grizzly True Crime on YouTube shows Mica dressed for work, shopping at Dick's Pawn Shop on the day of her passing. She arrived at the location around 12:12 p.m., but during the 20 minutes she was there, she kept glancing over her shoulder. I edited and sped up the video to show all the times she appeared to look back out into the parking lot and counted around 9 times. It could just be her looking around, but it could be that she felt like she was being followed. So in the days before she passed, she reported to authorities that there was a tracker on her car. When police arrived to get the tracker, her stalker drove by and the police told her there was nothing they could do. She insisted she knew who the suspect was, implying it was her estranged husband, John J.P. Miller. She confided that if she ended up with a bullet in her head, it wasn't her, it was J.P. In the days leading up to this moment, she told authorities she was fearing for her life, so it's possible she bought this for self-defense. At around 1:30 p.m., Mica went to the gas station to fill her tank up and buy a drink. And as she was at the gas station, a black truck that looks very similar to JP's drove by suspiciously 3 times. So it seems as though she was being followed. Again, a tracker could have been used on her car, and maybe JP knew she was buying this item and took it as an opportunity to stage her passing and get it to look the way they want, so no one questioned them. JP admitted to using a tracker on her car to monitor if she ever did buy this pew-pew, and he said it was for her own protection he did that. The cops said she wasn't followed. But do you guys think this proves otherwise? I mean, this truck looks very, very suspicious. JP's alibi was proved by authorities with this sketchy image of his truck that had tinted windows and you couldn't see who was inside of it. It's different from the all-black one we just saw that was stalking her, but it's also interesting that JP made alterations to his truck in the days after Mica passed, including getting new rims and changing the silver panel on the back of his truck. It shows that he's capable to change his truck to all black if he wanted to. JP's alibi was that he was at a sporting event the day of Mica's passing, but his own father is casting doubt on his son's alibi.
But the one thing that was keeping his son from being linked to the crime scene was him being with a woman, according to police. According to the Daily Mail, they say this: Reginald denied that Miller was with another woman at the time of Mica's death, despite Robeson County Sheriff's Department releasing a timeline of his movements, which claimed he was in Charleston with someone he was romantically linked to. Why would Reginald Miller say this? It was the one thing that kept John Paul Miller away from the scene. This is truly unbelievable coming from his own father.
Yeah, so the one thing that was going for JP on his alibi was that his girlfriend could vouch for him, but according to his father, his girlfriend wasn't even there. So what's really going on? Was this a cover-up by the police? Mica's father, Michael, said on Law and Crime there were marks on her hand as if her hand was being held up with force and she had defensive marks. He also found it strange where her body was located in the river since no current could take her out that far, and there were multiple casings found at the scene. And Mica already knew how to fire and was trained, so it wouldn't make sense she would have to do a test.
Mica's mother, Angelita, she said, pretend this is Mica's hand. And she asked me, grab this hand. And then she pulled it up, and said, it looks like someone squeezed her hand and raised it up and shot. And there are defensive wounds from it and such. And That's the general idea of our theory, that somebody crushed her hand to hold the gun up to her head while she's fighting. Either them or someone else held her other hand or her other arm back because there's bruising on it from squeezing, and they forced it to look like that was self-inflicted. And a couple of rounds went off during the scuffle. One ejected was live, and then it finally happened the way they would want it to happen. And then dumped her in the water, probably 40 meters away from where the shell casings in the gun was found. The water doesn't flow there. It's a slough. It's still. It just sinks. And it actually flows when it sinks, when it recesses, it goes the other direction from where she was found. So her body, even if it was put in the water right there, would not have flowed the direction where she was found. It would flow the other way. So it would be possible that the incident occurred right there, and the shell casings and then was dumped in the water right there. And then she was carried farther, 40 meters back, into a little bit more secluded area where she was found.
There was also that fisherman who heard a cry, then a bullet fire. JP also rushed the cremation. And what I found interesting was that Lumber River State Park in North Carolina is connected to JP's lawyer, Tom Winslow's property.
John Paul's lawyer, Tom Winslow, has a property across the water from the park, and it connects to the address that belongs to him according to property records. For security reasons, of course, I will not be including the address, but you can access this park by boat from his property, and it's about 20 minutes to get there. Now, I'm not claiming at all that the attorney has any affiliation with Mica's death, but I do find it to be a coincidence. John Paul made many statements in regards to Mica's mental state, her medical history, and also encouraged her to be admitted to a mental facility. Tom Winslow also helped JP get power of attorney over her. It's also on his website that he specializes in artificial intelligence. Now, Tom Winslow is now allegedly being investigated by the FBI.
Yeah, so they kind of sound like partners in crime. And just going back to what Michael said, he possibly felt like it was a duo that staged this scene. Anyway, what do you guys think of this new footage and new accounts of what happened to Mica Miller? Do you think it casts a doubt on the police thinking she wasn't followed or that she did this to herself? I love reading your comments, and I try to read every single one, and most of the times I actually do, so sound off in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe by hitting my face here. And let's roll the outro. Bye guys, have a great day.